The Latino population in this country is, well, incrementing at a pace that most people don't realize. We're probably one of the largest groups in the country, ethnic groups in the country. And well, there are some challenges and there are some opportunities too. I am Jose Antonio Ortiz, and this is Nuestro Valle, only on the Astound Television Network. Thank you for letting us in your homes. Our guest tonight is Jennie Dallas, who is the Strategic Director at the Libre Initiative. Welcome to Nuestro Valle.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Well, this is so true that the Latino community is one of the largest, but they haven't been able to flex the muscle.
Exactly.
Seems like we don't want to cause any trouble, just going along. But there is a group. Tell me about the Libre Initiative. What is the Libre Initiative doing?
Well, first, the Libre Initiative exists to empower Latinos to live the American dream through freedom-minded policies.
Mm-hmm.
And we work to tear down barriers to prosperity. And we educate our community, inform on policies, give back to our community. And we're doing work in many different areas, many different ways. So it'll be a long conversation as far as what we are doing. So, but we'll be able to streamline it for you.
Sure thing. And I will appreciate that because we don't have that much time.
Okay.
I wish we did. But because it's a very complex situation that we have here. You mentioned economic empowerment. This is the land of opportunity, right?
Exactly.
How come we don't get that opportunity sometimes?
Well, it is definitely slipping from our hands, and this is why we're fighting hard for us to understand the economy, period. And then we can take it to another level by breaking down some of the barriers to the prosperity. However, there's one fact that would be important to note is that 1 in 4 businesses in the United States is Latino. So we are very impactful in the economy, but we don't want that to stop, and we also want to remove some of the barriers, and that could be regulations. Regulations can hinder growth. So if somebody wants to open their own barber shop or just cut hair, there's lots of barriers. There's, $1,000 stands in your way, right, just to get started. And so we want to remove some of those barriers so people can be prosperous and have their own business and make a living. So those are that's one example.
Yes, just the economic aspect.
Mm-hmm. And then, taxes. Taxes is a huge issue. Right now, our Libre Initiative is working on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We cannot afford to lose that. Latino businesses cannot afford to lose that benefit. For some families, it's up to $2,400 a year. And losing that benefit could lose employees. Your bottom line, that's what they're looking at. And when the tax cut in 2017, when it passed, many people were able to expand their businesses with that extra money. So we do not want to lose that. And since Latinos represent 1 in 4 business, that directly impacts our community.
Of course. And education, I think education is the only equalizer. And there is no denying that. Access to education sometimes is not exactly so easy to get access to higher education or trade education.
Well, Libre's stance on education is that we believe parents should be able to choose from grade school what school their children go to. So that that's another barrier when many of our children are in school districts that, there's 90% are not passing English. and math and basic things. So parents should be able to choose what type of education is best for their child. So that's one of the areas that we feel that is a barrier to us being prosperous and being able to move forward and then going to secondary schooling. So that's where we start our fight for Latinos is in education.
Well, it's education, economic empowerment. How about housing?
Housing, it's very hard to find. Housing prices are going up, right? So we feel as though that where we would be able to have more housing opportunities, where is now commercialized. If we can turn that into housing, being able to build houses in those areas, that would actually drive down the prices of rent and so forth. And so that's one of the efforts we're working on. And Libre, like I said, there's different ways that we work, right? So we have our nonprofit Libre Institute, where we educate. Everything is educational. So we have ESL classes. We have up to 5 levels of ESL classes. We have how to build your own business, how to buy a home, financial literacy, all that type of educational resource that we provide to churches, to anybody who really wants it. And then we have our Libre initiative, where we engage in the policy aspect, and we'll work with our legislators and the state capitol. We'll work with our congressmen, our United States Senate, and we'll work on these policies that are affecting our community. One being licensed. If you're licensed as a doctor in another country, you should be able to practice here.
Yeah, I can talk about that a lot.
All day, right?
Yes, but well, we will continue. Friends, don't go away. There is more to come. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, and we are chatting with our guest tonight, Jennie Dallas, who is the Strategic Director of the Libre Initiative. And, well, there are so many aspects of the lifestyle that we are not taking full advantage of, right? We're mentioning housing. How is the initiative group? Do they offer workshops, or they go specifically to churches and schools? How does it work?
Yes, we'll offer, if it's a class on building your own business, for instance. We'll just announce it. We have it through our website, through our networking abilities, and we offer it to the public, and they can attend. And we go through we'll probably partner with someone that is expertise in that area, and provide a service to our community, and to build our community up so that they can prosper. We're all about protecting our prosperity.
Well, that is so important, and is much needed, because, after seeing people who come from all over the world, all our Latin American countries especially, and the way to progress in these countries is totally different. If you lose your job, there is not such a thing as unemployment benefits. So you either grab a box of candy and you go to the streets, or you ask for family members to lend you some money and you start a little business. You come here, is not the case. You have to have a business plan. You have to have credit. So is that what your organization is doing?
We're removing those barriers that you're talking
Yes.
about. What makes it so hard to start your own business? We're trying to remove those barriers, so there are more opportunities. So if somebody wants to start a business, there isn't so much loopholes they have to go through, right? So that is one of the our POVs. Yep.
Financial education, you mentioned it already, but exactly, I think we go to school, we have sent our children to school here. There is education on everything, every art, science, political science, etc. But not financial education.
Exactly.
They don't even know how to balance a checkbook. Well, we don't use that anymore. But, this financial education, our people have no idea that you have to start saving early in life if you ever want to retire.
Exactly.
And even before that, you have to get money for your children to go to school. But there is not such a thing. So in this aspect is also those workshops that you offer?
Yes, we could provide those type of workshops. And what we'll do is, every community knows their own community, right? So
Yes.
if we'll go to a community, if that is what they want and that is what they're asking for, that's what we provide. Another community might say, no, we want more, them to understand how they can buy their own home, and so then we'll provide. We might provide numerous. So it's based on what is requested from the community itself.
You go by the need.
By the need, exactly.
So there is no cookie cutter, okay? Here is the initiative and this is what we are going to do.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, so to be clear, that one part is the Libre Institute. That is our 501c3, where all of our education falls under. And then we have the Libre Initiative, where policy, and we work with legislators to remove those barriers to what we're trying to educate on.
That's like a really tall order.
It is. But it's also letting our community know about these things. They a lot of times they don't understand why we can't get to where we want to get to, and it's a lot of the times it's the regulations that are placed on businesses that make it hard for us to prosper.
And sometimes it's by design, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I would say everyone has to go through those regulations. So basically, everyone would benefit from the work we're doing, fighting for our community.
Yes.
Everyone would
And
benefit.
not just the Latino community, it's just everyone can benefit with.
Exactly. But if you look, it just, where do you start from, right? So sometimes it's a lot harder to get to where you need to be if you have to catch up, So that's why we're so focused on education as well.
Great. Now, do you partner? I think you mentioned you partner with other organizations. Like, can you give me an instance?
The chamber.
Oh, the chamber. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the chamber. Any community organization that wants to partner, we will. Just about anyone that wants to, because we want to get a chance to talk to our community about about issues, what prevents them, what's taking money out of their pocket.
Yes.
And we have to talk about what's happening with the money that we're earning, and we're not bringing it home.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Right. We have to talk about that, and many people don't think about that, and they just keep more and more coming in out of your paycheck.
Yes.
And somebody has to stand up and say, no, enough. We need to keep our money.
It's funny because I have conversations with people from other countries, and they immediately said, well, you live in the United States, you are making a ton of money. And when you explain to them that, yes, you make a ton of money, mostly it's not a ton, but you start taking away the federal taxes. From the same pot, you have to pay the state taxes. So you make $10,000 here, and at 10,000 you pay $13 here from the same 10,000. So it's not like it's diminishing, then you're just paying a portion.
Exactly.
When I explain that to them, they just think, well, that's crazy. Yes. So out of $10,000, you come home with maybe maybe $5,000.
Exactly. And that's what we're showing our community. There's ways that you can speak up. You can you can call your congressman. You can sign one of our petitions. You can go testify. There's many ways that you can speak up and use your voice to say, no, we don't want that anymore.
Exactly. Well, that's where you come in and empower. And we will come back. Friends, don't go away. Stay with us. Well, we are back, and our guest tonight is Jennie Dallas, who is the Strategic Director of the Libre Initiative. And we'll have only very limited time. One topic we haven't talked about is immigration. Hot topic. Immigration, and every day I get a notification. I'm Mexican, so I get notifications from my consul, sometimes from the ambassador with instructions what we should say, or all these things. What is the Libre Initiative doing about this?
So the Libre Initiative, there's a fundamental principle that we have, and that is human dignity. So we believe that everything should be handled with dignity. Our POV on immigration, which is our point of view for the viewers that may not understand that acronym, we are fighting for immigration reform. So that is where if you hear the stories of people who have tried to become a citizen, it's so long, and it's can be very expensive. We want to streamline that process. We want to make it more easier for citizenship. It may encourage people to come in illegally, since the process is so hard to become legal with the government, with our processes now. So that is our stance on immigration reform.
It seems to me like every time there is a sliver of hope, and they are working, both sides, side by side, something happened and it's shut down.
Well, that is why it's important for an organization like the Libre Initiative to exist. We didn't share with the viewers that we are nationwide, and we're in 15 states, operating in 15 states, but we also have our hands in other states as well, but we have official chapters in 15 states. And that is why it's so important to have an organization who is working on policies. And our community can get involved. They can go to our website and they can become an activist, or they can sign up to be a volunteer. They can get involved, and then we will help them. When the time comes and the right time comes, we will reach out and say, now's the time to act. Sign this petition. Let's go to Washington, D.C. Let's go and fight about these policies, and talk to our congressmen, talk to our senators about what we need as a community. But as long as we sit on the sidelines and don't use our voice, the longer the process will be. So if we can grow our movement through activism, we can make a change.
Yes. I just want to make this clear. This is not a partisan group. The initiative, the Libre Initiative, is not a partisan. I was talking to someone in the organization, and they said, well, if you want to say we're kind of like a moderate right, we believe in small government, which absolutely, but not as small as certain person wanted to make. And I will not say any names, but it is, I think, is the growing pains are very evident right now. And you're right. The immigration has to be fixed in a legal way,
Exactly.
not through terrorizing people.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
but that's the part I really like. Anyone can join,
Absolutely.
can participate.
Absolutely. There's so many Latinos that they probably reside in the middle, and our organization is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. Yes, our policies do lean center right, but you can get involved.
Yes.
You can get involved and help. The issues as we discuss them affect all of us.
Yes, not only Latinos.
Exactly. And so
and
by
that's-
design, that's why we have those issues. It affects left, right, in the middle.
Yes.
These are all issues that we should all be concerned about.
Well, we have only a few minutes, but there are some activities, not only the educational type or the kind of protesting or going talk. You have also some fun activities.
Absolutely.
And I know there is one published, which I didn't understand exactly where it fits in the whole. Well, friends, before we get into that, you need more information. There is everything you need. There is the address, there is a phone number, and the email. The website, I recommend highly for you to get involved that way. And well, going back to this activity, why music in the park?
Well, we love music, don't we?
Well,
We
yeah.
love coming together, and we just want to give back to our community and have fun with what we're doing. And we want to build relationships with our community, but we want to inform. We want to inform on the policies that matter to us most, and we want to keep the American dream alive.
Yes.
Most people come to this country for the American dream, and it's slipping away. And we realize that. And it is something that everyone should be concerned about. And so we are offering opportunity for people to use their voices and, like we said at the beginning, empower Latinos
Yes.
to live the American dream.
I think a lot of people would not like that, because just imagine the economic, political, and moral power if there was a unity. Imagine that more than 1/3 of the nation. It's terrifying for some people. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been very informative.
you.
Hope to see you again.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for
friends-
having me.
Friends, we will see you next time in Nuestro Valle.